How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dukes Up. And for this video, I'll be answering what everybody ought to know about Khalil RoundTree versus Jamahal Hill. Okay, so for starters, I think Khalil RoundTree will defeat Jamahal Hill, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight. Now, how I'm going to answer this, I'm going to be using my computer because I got a lot of their stats online and they have a lot of stats, they have a lot of information. I don't remember everything off of the top of my head, so I'm going to be using my computer for some help. Let's talk about Khalil RoundTree's strengths. Okay, Khalil RoundTree's strengths. He is very aggressive. He is vicious. His Muay Thai style is very good. He has very quick hand speed. You could see it in the Alex Pereira fight. He was very fast. He was able to land a lot on Alex Pereira, a lot more than anybody expected. He's good at body kicks. He's good at straight punches and hooks. Next, let's talk about Jamahal Hill's strengths. Now, Jamahal Hill's strengths. All right, Jamahal Hill's strengths is his forward pressure, his cardio, and his counter-punching ability and KO power. Khalil RoundTree has KO power too, so it's really up to who has more KOs or who's stronger, or actually who has a better chin. Now let's talk about their weaknesses. Since we just finished off of Jamahal Hill, let's start with his weaknesses. Now, Jamahal Hill's weaknesses: he stays on the center line too much, he tends to brawl too much, and he's heavy on his lead leg. Khalil RoundTree's weaknesses: he's open to leg kicks, swings wild off of the exchange, he is easy to counter, he is susceptible to guard manipulations, he does not have much 5-round experience outside of Alex Pereira, he leaves himself open after putting all into his punches, which also hurts his stamina. And he can be pretty susceptible to jabs as well. Okay, so based off their strengths and weaknesses, I would argue on behalf of Khalil RoundTree. Now here's the thing, based on his past fight against Alex Pereira, he showed a lot of growth. He doesn't seem to throw that much into his punches as like he used to in his old fights. And his stamina seemed a lot better than expected. But he still does throw a lot into his punches. He is very aggressive, very explosive. So he could still have that problem going into the fight against Jamahal Hill, which he has to be careful of because Jamahal Hill has very good cardio. So especially since Khalil RoundTree does not have that much 5-round experience and Jamahal Hill does. And he's fought more champions too. Although, the last champion that, Jamahal Hill fought was, it didn't last more than like a few minutes, in the first round. And beating Glover Teixeira, 45-year-old Glover Teixeira, I give him the credit. At the end of the day, it's like out of his prime, pretty old. Hey, you still get the credit. You still beat Glover Teixeira. But yeah, at the end of the day, cardio-wise, Jamahal Hill has that. I don't think Khalil RoundTree should let the fight go any further than a few rounds. But if he is capable to do that, I see the exchanges going in Khalil RoundTree's favor because of how fast he is and because of how good his defense was against Alex Pereira. Now, Alex Pereira wasn't at 100%, but he was still fighting pretty well. I think he was at 10%. I mean, my bad. He was at 90%, But at the end of the day, he was still doing very well. His hand speed was getting him a lot of advantages. Considering how Jamahal Hill handled Alex Pereira's hand speed and Khalil RoundTree was able to get a lot of advantages on Alex Pereira, I do think that Khalil RoundTree is going to give Jamahal Hill a lot of trouble with his hand speed. So yeah, that is something that Jamahal Hill has to watch out for. And the fact that he stays on the center line too much and Khalil RoundTree is pretty good at lateral movement, I can imagine Khalil RoundTree is gonna land a lot of jabs and hooks, while moving laterally, as he was against Anthony Smith. I do not want Khalil RoundTree to I don't want him to, put everything into his punches. I mean, he's fast without it. He doesn't need to be doing all that, but considering that, Jamahal Hill has good KO power and the type of fatigue that, Khalil RoundTree was going through against Alex Pereira, although I don't really consider that much of a point, because at the end of the day, Khalil RoundTree has a pretty good chin, considering that he was taking all the punishment that Alex Pereira was giving him throughout those rounds. I think up to 3 or 4 rounds that he was fighting Alex Pereira. And if he can take that much dealing with Alex Pereira, and Jamahal Hill could only take like 1 round, honestly, I can see Khalil RoundTree going the distance with Jamahal Hill, unless Khalil RoundTree, he just starts getting read by Jamahal Hill. Like Jamahal Hill just breaks down his defense and he's able to just land on him and just starts tearing him up like Alex Pereira did. But I don't see Jamahal Hill doing that. Jamahal Hill is a good striker. He does have KO power, but he stays on the center line too much. Khalil RoundTree is really good, working off the back foot. He has good lateral movement, and Khalil RoundTree has pretty good defense considering how he was able to keep up with Alex Pereira. And his hand speed, I definitely argue that his hand speed is faster than Jamahal Hill's if, Khalil RoundTree was able to contend with Alex Pereira the way he did with Alex Pereira's hand speed and striking speed, because he was able to block and dodge a lot of Alex Pereira's attacks. So yeah, I feel like Jamahal Hill's gonna have a hard time with Khalil RoundTree's speed, and he's not gonna be able to put him away very fast, because Khalil RoundTree has a pretty good chin. Jamahal Hill, on the other hand, his chin is not perfect, and Khalil RoundTree is very vicious. He's very strong. He's knocked down Alex. And he's sort of kind of rocked Alex with hooks and kicks. So, Jamahal Hill's knocked down. Khalil RoundTree's knocked down some big people, but Jamahal Hill's knocked out some big people too. But based on stats, I would definitely argue that Khalil RoundTree would take that win. And plus, Jamahal Hill is going into the fight with a chip on his shoulder because he just cannot get over the Alex Pereira fight. So based on that, I mean, that could be what makes him, fight better. But at the same time, that could be a mental block, and he may not be able to train properly or fight properly because he just can't get Alex Pereira out of his freaking head. I see Jamahal Hill winning. I definitely see I see Khalil RoundTree winning. I definitely see Khalil RoundTree winning. Now, if you disagree with me, give me your thoughts in the comment section. I would like to open a discussion about this, but I do see Khalil RoundTree winning. I don't see Jamahal Hill, I don't see Jamahal Hill taking this. Although it's going to be a difficult fight, I do see them going back and forth, but I can imagine, I can see a situation happening where Khalil RoundTree does land a hook on Jamahal Hill, and that will be the knockout, honestly. Well, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.